People always ask me, what do you teach? The belief and the given circumstance, believing a little bit deeper in the given circumstances. I mean, tongue in cheek, I teach sex and faith. You can believe more in a situation, and you can have a larger desire for that situation. Those are more polite ways of saying it. But basically, it's pretty much the same. I'm interested in finding the experiences that stretch you, that are beyond your sort of prefrontal cortex. Everyone has an idea. I always quote Mike Tyson. Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. And usually those interesting people in drama, they get punched in the face. Something happens, as the critic said about Ibsen. It's a character caught in the fact. And when you're caught in that fact, it is beyond your ability to sort of create a narrative, and that's what I'm interested in. If you come into a school, you're 25 to 30 years old, 22, you're pretty good about using narratives to get out of things, whether it's been a relationship, a job, something you've been fired from. You really have that narrative about yourself pretty well honed. So I'm interested, I'm not interested in destroying your narrative. I'm interested in it being a deeper sensation, the experience. And you're always interested in stretching the experience of it, not you controlling the experience of it. And I think people like intense experiences. And people will always be a little bit nervous about jumping in the pool, but really when you're there, you breathe really well. And so we just explore both stretched, commedia characters with a mask. We stretch into melodramatic scenes that are very, very difficult. What's the most you can feel with the least language? And I just find that fascinating. I go down a rabbit hole with words, or actually a word. Like you take the word error. We've conflated that to mean a problem. Errare in Latin or Greek actually means to wander. So you go, what? Yes. I guarantee, I get a whole bunch of students in class, they go, oh, what's the most interesting thing that happened to you? Inevitably, it was something terrible that they could live through. So I'm interested in that wandering. I mean, I came from a very European system of creating work, of diving into some crazy, crazy theme, and really committing yourself. And I had to adapt to a program that was very much for an actor playing numerous roles in a company way back when. And I really enjoyed sort of going, well, wait a minute. Let's create a game that's specifically suited to this situation. There's just a strange thing that happens when people have to play a game with a whole lot of other cohorts involved. And no matter what that is, they up the ante. The stakes go way higher. And strangely enough, it's the reason why a conservatory or a group always learns more than an individual can learn at home. These days you can learn anything at home. But you're never going to learn how important something is. And you're never going to stretch until you've got like 12 to 16 people looking at you or acting with you. You do things that you would never choose to do alone. Jokingly, but it's true. When students first come into the class, I say, what's the most important thing for an actor? And they say this, and they say that, some Stanislavski phrase or something. I say, no, you got to look better. They're puzzled. Really? Yeah, you have to look better in both terms. You have to be able to look at things and learn. And then you need to extrapolate outward. It's like, if you can look at what's happening at a McDonald's when 10 people are in line, that's one thing. You can find a lot of behavior, and it's sort of like the marvelous toolbox of like, let's look deeper at this. What I love is, okay, now put that a little bit more on a status, on there's a whole lot more at stake. And what would happen? And you keep on making that situation worse and worse, or better and better theatrically. And you'll always come to a place that is sort of magical, and you'll get to see things that you've never seen before.